What's going on, my crypto family? Chris here. Want to bring y'all an update today of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Digibyte. Those are the four we're going to be going over. And guys, what we're doing, we're breaking down through that symmetrical triangle that we've been looking at. It's a little mix between a symmetrical triangle and a pennant. Typically, symmetrical triangles will be over 3 weeks in duration. What you can see here is this one really started at the bottom here about May 10th. So we're in a little bit of a mix between like a pennant and a symmetrical triangle, but what we're starting to do now is break down through the bottom portion. And what you can see is I had support here at $8,799, what I was looking at. If that doesn't end up holding, guys, we're going to be looking down to around that $8,500 range, and then we could really start getting down in some areas around that $7,000 if we do end up losing this 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. Because what's happening now is we have our 20 EMA, our 50, and our 200 on the 4-hour time frame acting as overhead resistance for us now. And you can see how we're fighting and battling with this white 200 moving average right here, and that's given us some trouble. So we have to be aware of that. It's something that's really important for us, because typically if we do get breaks out of here, guys, we can really run hard and fast to the downside. Same with when we move to the upside. That's just as cryptocurrency. But you can see now we'd have to get back over top of 9,294. We're going to need to get back over top of 9,800 and then around that $10,000, then up around 10,500. So we have all that overhead resistance that we're dealing with now. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to bounce out to the 1 week time frame and just show you what came in yesterday. Since yesterday we had the closing there, and what you can see is that we actually put in a bearish engulfing candle, guys, and it was almost like a tweezer top and then a bearish engulfing. So this is definitely something we need to keep our eyes on and be aware of, because that's not a good sign for a top, especially right around that $10,500 that we needed to get over top of, so that in the macro sense we could make a higher high. You can see, guys, overall all it was a lower high so far. So that's why it's so important to find support off these areas. Now on the 1 week, we're still fighting back and forth between the 50 moving average, and we're also still up above that 20 EMA. But what we've been doing is just moving sideways. It's not moving up or moving down, so it's not giving us a ton of information. If you take a look here at TradingView as well, what you'll see is that we're starting to get into the sell signals now. We have 11 sell, 9 neutral, 8 buy. You can see our moving averages here. So like I said, guys, this for me just is not a time to be in a position. That's just my opinion. And I've been glad that I've been out of the market just patiently waiting, because what happened was, guys, I took a trade at $9,500. It was right back in this range. So it was probably right here. So we broke out over top of this. I jumped in. So yeah, it was on this candle right here. I rode it to the upside, but what happened was I put in a break-even stop loss, because what I was anticipating was this was going to continue to move. And then if we did dump, I have a break-even in, and then who cares? You know, it is what it is. And that's exactly what happened. So I kept my break-even stop in. We pushed up to around that 10,100, and then we dumped back down. Since then, we've been really chopping back and forth in this little triangle here, but now we're starting to break down to the downside here, and we definitely need to be aware of that, guys, because we don't want this 200 moving average here on the 4-hour time frame starting to act as overhead resistance for us. We've been trading up above that now, let's see, since April 6th. So the fact that we potentially could be losing it now, you got to pay attention to that type of stuff, guys. I'm telling you, technical analysis works. It's going to show you the buying and the selling. And for me right now, I'm not at the point where I'm saying, hey, I need to go long, I got to get me some Bitcoins. That's just, it's not how the chart's looking right now, guys. So you really need to be aligned with the trend. Like I said, it can even help you when you take a look here at TradingView just to show you what's taking place there within the trend. So right now, guys, in my opinion, it's a time to be sitting out of the market. I know some guys are shorting right now, but with all the craziness of the Bitcoin having all that around right now, I'm not in a short position. I would not want to be shorting Bitcoin right now. I'm just more sitting back, waiting for a great opportunity. If we have a huge dump, I want to jump in and try to ride the reaction back up and then mostly get back out. But, you know, guys, it just is what it is. We're just going to have to wait and see. This is cryptocurrency, and manipulation happens all the time. I mean, look at this massive dump that we had after we broke out from a resistance. It looked like we were going to run hard. We had a massive dump, right? And then we went all the way back up. I mean, these are 20-30% moves a lot of the times, and that's what I'm trying to capture, not so much just the long term where I just buy and hope. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin there, guys. Next one we're going to get into is Ethereum. And also, for anyone who has loved ones who've served, or if you've served yourself, you know, it's hard to say Happy Memorial Day because we're remembering the fallen soldiers and those who have sacrificed for us. But guys, to anyone who's served our country, I greatly thank you. And if you have, let me know down low. I would love to hear if there's some veterans listening to this, because overall, I just want to thank you. Our country and our nation, we're not free without you guys. So I really appreciate it. Next, we're going to get into Ethereum here. And also, guys, if you like this channel and you get some from it, you get me, or you like me covering these 4 coins, let me know down low just how people have been putting thumbs up, like, subscribe, anything like that. It just really helps out with the algorithm. So I appreciate that. But what we're looking at for Ethereum now, we're getting pinned, and we're looking at this on the 4-hour time frame. We're getting pinned between our 200 and our 50 moving average there. So right now, Ethereum's getting to the point it has to decide if it's going to break up through this yellow downtrend line, and we can start going up and testing, some higher numbers around 225 up to $247. Those are going to be the 2 overhead resistance areas that I'm looking at. Or if we're going to start breaking down through this 200 moving average at 202, would be an area we want to hold as support. Then it'd be down around 185, then ultimately that 174 right now. So when we're looking at Ethereum, what we have on our summer, we have a 6 sell, 10 neutral, 12 buy. Moving average is 4 sell, 1 neutral, 12 buy. So Ethereum is a little ahead of Bitcoin right now. It's doing a little bit better. And if we bounced out to the 1 week like we looked at Bitcoin, we'll take a quick look here. So what we've been doing is more so just consolidating, moving sideways. So the candle for this past week here is just a short day candle, and what that's showing is a lot of fight between the bulls and the bear, or a spinning top candle fight between the bulls and the bears in this area right now. We're still holding the 20 and the 50 like we talked about, just moving sideways though, so it's not too significant. And we have that 200 acting as overhead resistance on the 1 week around $253 right there. And then if we bounce back to the 4-hour, there's just a couple indicators I wanted to look at as well. And that's where, guys, we need to be cautious here. We need to be careful, because in this space, so many different things could happen. Bitcoin could start dumping and then the altcoins go crazy. I mean, it really could happen. For most of the time, typically when Bitcoin dumps, it'll bring everything with it, or when it pumps, it'll bring everything with it. But we may get to that point where Bitcoin dominance has been so high that people are going to start looking for better opportunities in terms of percentage gains. You just never know in this space. You never know. And you can see how tight this price action is getting. So there's going to be a break here soon, and we're just going to have to wait to see which way we end up breaking. But in terms of the indicators, let's take a quick look at the RSI. So RSI, we're having lower highs, higher lows coming in, and that's that squeezing effect. You could even draw here, guys. We'd basically be in a little symmetrical triangle right there if you wanted to put the trend lines in and take a look at that. So that's Ethereum. If you like me covering Ethereum, let me know down low, and then we'll get into Litecoin next. Litecoin's at $42.95 right now. Let's take a look at this. So what's happened with Litecoin, guys? Overall, in the macro sense, we've been in this nasty downtrend, just getting beat up, okay? We had our trend line break. It came on heavier volume. And since then now, the volume's really been drying up, and we've just been moving sideways. So we're consolidating sideways right now. And what we're seeing is if this secondary little uptrend here is going to continue, if we're going to have consolidation sideways and then start moving up to challenge, overhead, we're going to need to get over $46 now, the psychological 50, 51. So that's what happens, guys. When you fail here, now you have all that overhead resistance that you're going to have to get up through, and it's tough. And as support, we need to hold $41, and then it'd be down around about that $40 psychological. But right now, this is a tough position. For me, I would not want to just jump into Litecoin right now, because it would truly be a guessing game with how we're moving sideways, and also with the overall macro pressure pushing down on us. That's where you can get into some trouble. And take a look at this, guys. Technical analysis here. Look at that. Strong sell, 18 sell, 9 neutral, 1 buy. Moving averages 5 sell, 1 neutral, 1 buy. So these are things, guys, like I don't look at this before I do my charting. I look at this as I'm charting with you, just to see how close I am on my summary. So like for Litecoin here, I'm looking at this, looking at downtrend, and then trading view here is basically going to correlate with that. And I'm going to say, okay, I can see it in a downtrend. I think this is a time I wouldn't want to buy. And then I'll look at trading view and just see how well I align with it. And right now, guys, it's a sell, in my opinion, or just to sit back and just not even be in the market for Litecoin, because this is not the prettiest chart that I've seen. Just to let you know, this is an area where you need to be careful, in my opinion. So that's Litecoin, guys. Not a ton to say there. We're just really moving sideways. Those are the areas we need to hold $40 as support, And then overhead resistance, we got to start getting over top of 44. On the 4-hour time frame here, you can see the 20s acting as overhead resistance, the 50, the 20. We're just really starting to get pressed down hard. So just be careful. If you're in a Litecoin position, guys, long term, like I said, I'm not in the market of predicting things. I think Litecoin is a good project, but for me, I like to trade these swings. I don't want to be stuck in a coin or a project, regardless of what it is. So that's Litecoin, and then we're going to get into Digibyte as well. Take a look at this. Want to find a good chart here for us. So we're probably going to use Bittrex because I want to find the most information for us. Let's see here. There it is. And let me know if you like me covering Digibyte, guys. I know a lot of people come here for that, so I'll always try to do the best that I can for you. So let's, for Digibyte, look at the 1-day time frame, because this is one I think would be very difficult to trade. I think it's either more of, if you're a fan of Digibyte and you have confidence in it, this probably would be more of a hodl, just due to the fact typically the volatility or the volume's really low, the liquidity is really low. It's just a tough one to trade because it can be manipulated so easy. So this is one where I would say, if you're a fan of Digibyte, you think it's going to do well in the future, then it is more of a hold than most likely a trade. But what we're looking at here is, guys, we have lost this 20 EMA. That's where we want to get our bounce off of. We had a bullish engulfing candle there, but we set a lower high. And then you can see we came up again. We set another lower high. So in the short term now, our trend is down, and we need to be aware of that. Each time off this 50, you can see we got a bounce. And guys, that's where technical analysis matters. Why do these things happen all the time? Why'd you get a bounce off the 20? Why'd you get a bounce off the 50? And if you can know these things, you can kind of plan these things. Take a look at just what this candle alone is. If you say, okay, I think we're going to get a bounce off the 50, I'm going to ride up the daily candle and I'm going to get out of there if things are looking good. I mean, that's a 32% candle. Most markets don't move that much in an entire year. So that's what I'm saying. There's guys who understand this. So if we have another retracement back to the 200, most likely, even if it's just going to be another lower high, we would get a bounce off that as well. So these are the things that you want to look at. But for Digibyte now, we would not want to drop back below, in my opinion, 0.01396. And this is why I was kind of warning people at the top here. There's signs that can show you that we're topping out or we're bottoming. And those are the things that I really like to look at here. Okay, but that's what we need to hold as support. In terms of overall overhead resistance, we're going to need to get back up above 0.01869, and then it's going to be up around that 0.02218, and then we'd have to get over top of 0.02433. So you see, each time we come up here and we fail, now that sets another overhead resistance that we're going to have to try to get back up over top of, and that's what makes things difficult. So in terms of Digibyte right now, let's take a look at this. We have 6 sell, 10 neutral, 12 buy. Oscillators, we have 2 sell, 9 neutral, 0 buy. Moving averages, we have 4 sell, 1 neutral, 12 buy. And what you can see, just kind of a mixed bag here, guys. In terms of the oscillators over here, because we have cooled down and we've had this retracement, see a lot of them are neutral, have a few sell over here. More so what's giving us our buying is the fact that we're up above the longer term moving averages, like that 50 moving averages, like that 200. That's going to give you a little bit better of a grade. So you always have to be aware of that. And you can see now we're fighting with that 20 to try to get back up above it right now. But there was some profit taking with this longer wick right up in that area around 2 cents. So guys, in my opinion, this is just an area to be safe as well. And like I said, with Digibyte, I think it's one truly, guys, that if you have confidence in Digibyte, then go for it and hold it for a long-term run. But it's just a difficult one to trade overall, in my opinion. So let me know if you guys get some from this. Happy Memorial Day to you guys. Like I said, it's tough to say Happy Memorial Day, but in terms of the sacrifice that all those people and all those soldiers have made, both men and women, guys, we do need to be happy that we live in the freest country in the world, even though, things have been getting so crazy. But we got to be thankful for that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. God bless each and every one of you. Maranatha.